Hey Questers, and welcome to another episode of BMF, the unofficial home for all things Oculus Quest. Today on BMF, we're checking out Knockout League, out today on the Quest. Huge thanks to Grab Games for sending me over the game to check out. Knockout League is a VR boxing game that looks back at the arcade-style boxing games of the past, like Ready to Rumble and Punch-Out, with its crazy characters and its timing and fight-style memorization gameplay. Due to some large technical difficulties over the past week, I was only able to salvage part of the footage I had for the review, but I should still have enough to give you an idea of the gameplay. So, is it good enough to jump into the ring, or should you forfeit the match and take the loss? Let's jack in and find out. Inevitably, the question is going to be asked, which game is better, Creed or Knockout League? So let's get that out of the way first. My answer? It depends and neither. They're both boxing games, and that's really where a lot of the similarities end. Creed is designed as a more gritty and realistic boxing game, where you will box against opponents both offline and online, and you use realistic boxing knowledge and moves to fight. Knockout League still uses realistic boxing moves like different punches and dodges and blocking, but the gameplay mechanics are more like an arcade game or like a platforming boss battle. Each opponent you face will have different moves and fighting styles, and you'll need to either time your blocks to block attacks or dodge to open up your opponent to attack. You can't just start flailing your arms and hitting them, or they'll just block you. To me, this feels a lot like a boss battle you'd see in a large platforming game, like Crash Bandicoot or one of the other large arcade-style platformers. You memorize the fighter's attacks so you can move or block and then follow up with an attack. It sounds like it would get old quick, but to me it was very satisfying. When you dodge a haymaker and then follow up with an uppercut that leads into a devastating combo and your opponent ends up on the canvas, it just gets your heart pumping and your body moving. One aspect that some may not like is that this game does not take advantage of full room scale. You stay in one spot for the most part, besides some small steps to avoid attacks or stepping into a punch. This personally doesn't bother me, and if you're looking for a room scale boxing game, there are other Quest games coming soon. The gameplay mechanics in each match seem to function really well, and I didn't have any issues with loss of tracking while punching quickly, and landing hits feels really good. One person mentioned in the gameplay video they wanted to see what it looks like when you get knocked down, but I'm just too good of a boxer for that. Just kidding. The screen goes black and your eyes flutter in and out of being open until you can fight again. There is a light story of climbing to the top of the boxing ranks, and I really like the coach that teaches you, and the storyline of the characters are just crazy and funny. Unfortunately, this game doesn't have a multiplayer mode. Each character is very unique both in fighting style and in looks. Before I move into the visuals for the game, I love the matches, but one of the best parts of the game is the training minigames. You can get a really good workout in Knockout League, both from the matches and the minigames. You could step out into the back alley and punch balloons while dodging dumbbells, hop over to the heavy bag, test your speed with the speed bag, or jump into the ring for some mitt training. Each of these minigames has multiple difficulty levels, and they're all unique and fun, plus they function really well too. One cool aspect I should have mentioned is that this game will track your estimated calories burnt if you input your weight. Now let's talk about the art in the game. Honestly, Knockout League looks really polished, and it really pops with color. The character models look great, and although the arenas are a little bit simplified when compared to the PC VR game in that you won't see anybody in the audience, everything stands up very well on the Quest version. I was actually surprised in some ways at how good it really looked a lot of the time. The animations are great, and I never had any issues with any kind of stutter or frame rate problems. The audio is great as well, from the music to the taunting from your opponents, and as I mentioned before, I really like the coach, and a lot of his dialogue is really well written and funny. When it comes to quest tracking and the freedom you get from the quest, it all seems to work together to create an awesome experience. Yes, you don't get full room scale, but you still get the freedom of no cable, so you can bob and weave and duck without obstruction. That, and I really love the finish him style ending of each match, where you get to just unload on whoever you're fighting to finish the match for the KO. Not only did I enjoy this game as an arcade style boxing game, I also really enjoyed it as a workout as well. After playing for over an hour in one session, I was drenched in sweat in my basement, which isn't warm by any means at the moment. I find the fighters you face unique and memorable. The gameplay is fun and challenging, and the mechanics and visuals work together to create a game that I think an arcade game lover will really enjoy. If you're looking for a more realistic boxing game, then I would stick with Creed, as this may not be your cup of tea, but if you want some unique gameplay that feels like an homage to the arcade boxers of old, with a polished and good-looking game, Knockout League is definitely a game you should check out. If you want to get the most out of your quest and the best bang for your buck, truck, then subscribe to BMF for more Quest-related content and hit that bell icon. Plus, if you're looking for more Quest games, you can check out my other reviews here. Thanks so much for watching, and happy questing.